Today must be a First Samuel day because once again I'm led to a verse actually in First Samuel from chapter 16, verse 7, which says in effect that man looks at the outward appearance of a person, but God looks at the heart. And I'm actually, one of the reasons that I was hesitant to get on camera is because I know this. I know that people will then judge me and my messages based solely on my appearance. And this is something that has been used in advertising for a very long time. This is why they choose people that they feel are have public friendly faces, or have a certain degree of attractiveness because they wish to attract the consumer. So they know that if they use someone, for instance, that has really long hair, then they know that you're going to buy that shampoo because you're going to believe this person, because they have this believability that they're going to say, oh, I use this product and this is why my hair is like it is. But what they don't tell you is that the truth is that the person was born with that hair and it's a result of heredity, and that no shampoo in the world is going to change your heredity or your features and your DNA that makes you who you are. There are artificial means of changing yourself into whoever it is that you want to be, but no product is going to do that for any long period of time. And so I needed to make this video because one of the comments, they asked me if I had a tongue ring, and nope, I don't. Never did, actually. Some of my nieces had that, and ooh, it looks so painful. Not to mention, when the first one got it and she showed it to me, I told her, I said, that's disgusting. It tells people things about you that you really need to keep to yourself. Because then when I asked her what it was for, I don't remember if I asked her before or after, but it was just so obvious. And then she told me, which was confirmation, and I was horrified. So I'm like, so every little boy out there is going to know that that's what you do in your spare time? Ugh. Anyway, moving on. So the point of this is not so much to clarify, myself, because I'm an older woman, and I do the best with what I have, but I have my faults. And I also have, like, for instance, one of the things that I do is I try to hide these lower teeth because they are so busted. But I always hope that people will look beyond my faults and just simply look at the video and get the message. But that's not always the case. Then someone else asked me if I did bleaching. I am so against that. Being an African, I am really against it, because when you go to West Africa, the main thing that you see along the roads are these gigantic billboards promoting bleaching cream. And you see all of these, this is the motherland, and you see all of these people who are walking around and they're like 3-4 different colors because they've been bleaching. No, people, no, black people. I've always loved dark skin, and I'm probably not right for this, and I'm sure some of you will be happy to put me in my place, but I've always been attracted to dark skin. I've always picked the darkest guy in the class. This is just something I've always felt was beautiful. But I also knew that I was an African from it. My mother was Ethiopian, and I always knew that from when I was younger. But when I was younger, it was not popular to be African. we were called booty scratchers and monkeys and all sorts of things, and most of this by our own people. So go figure. And so we didn't let people know that was our heritage, because until James Brown said, "Say it loud, I'm black and I'm proud," and then all the black movements was sprouting up and people began to have pride, then it was okay. And I understand from my Caribbean brothers and sisters that that was the case also, years ago in my generation, that they would get dissed for talking what people considered funny, and now it's embraced. Now that culture is embraced, but when years ago it wasn't embraced. The other thing is that because my father is from India, I've always had this hair, which people seem to be, especially black people, they seem to be really fascinated with it. And I can tell you, aside from the fact, stringy hair, when you get old, it balls. Of course, now I'm not going to be able to show you. But if you see those white people that do the comb over, the reason they do that is because there's no hair there. The Donald is a perfect example of the comb over, because the hair is falling out. So what people always considered all my life as quote unquote good hair is not good at all. The good hair is that tight, coarse, what some people call nappy hair, because it stays like that forever. I have to do a lot of manipulation, not to mention the crap that I have to put in my hair, just to give the illusion of it being thicker than it is. And then if I want to do a style or something, I have to buy these styling products. Now this I use when I wear my hair up in a ponytail. I use this, and of course it's coming out backwards, but it's called Jamaican Mango and Lime locking gel. And I don't want my hair to lock, but that's what the white folks do, and the Asians. When you see them walking around with locks, usually they use some type of product similar to that, because it helps straight hair be better manipulated into a style. And there are some pictures of me. If you go to my Facebook, you'll see pictures of me with what looks like a kinky afro. And that I got using Miss Jessie's, where I would just take 2 strands and the Miss Jessie's, and I would just twist it and do the little Bantu knots. I'm not going to do it right now, but it's like you twist it up and then you go to sleep, and then when you wake up, you've got like this big curly thing, which I've always loved. I've always loved the afro. So no, I haven't been manipulating myself. Then there was a comment about my eyes, one being bigger than the other. But I had just woken up not long ago. I think I shot that video maybe within a half hour after I had woke up, because I was up, I went, took my bath, came out reading my Bible, and then the Lord said, do the video. So that's what happened with that. What else? Oh yeah, someone said, oh, your eyes are one. So, oh yeah. So having just woke up, I still had the sleepy face. And depending on how I sleep, sometimes I get puffy on one side, because I sleep on this side a lot. So you'll see that my eyes, first of all, are not that big to begin with. So I've always had what they called back in the day chinky eyes. So depending on if I sleep on this side, this eye may get chinkier more than the other eye, or vice versa. Then someone said I had 2 different colors of eyes, and that's probably just because of the poor lighting in here. So my point is that, we put a lot of emphasis on the outward appearance, and we assume that the better a person looks, the better they're going to be in terms of our interaction with them. Another prime example is that I've been overweight for quite some time. I'm big as a house, but I wear clothing that is suited for my size, and I wear appropriate clothing for my age as well. So when I go out in public, I look the best that I can. But I do notice that when I was not big, for all those years that I worked in entertainment and I was actually in great shape, I couldn't keep the men off of me. I had to beat them off with a stick. And even now, I get all the chubby chasers, and that's weird. But because my focus is not on that, because I don't believe that this is the time that the Lord has called for me to be in a relationship, and because I would seek a godly relationship, and the time that we're in now, there's no such thing as courting. So I'm not really interested in men being attracted to my appearance, because today a date consists of coming to my house, and I don't consider that a date. That's not a date. But this is what this today's man, and even the older men, they're taking cues from the youngins, when it used to be vice versa. We never attempted to be like the youth. It's one thing to relate to them, and sure, I throw in a couple of slang words here and there just to be cool, but my objective is not to relive my youth, and I certainly don't have get my fashion cues or my behavioral cues from the youth of today, because this generation, for the most part, is pretty reckless. And so I said all that to say that it doesn't matter to me now that I don't have that same type of attractiveness, because I'm a woman of God now, and I want a man of God. I want a man that loves the Lord more than he loves me. Because why? If he loves the Lord more than he loves me, then he's going to treat me like gold, because he's not going to be afraid of my big brother or my father, or what's going to happen to him if he treats me bad. And I'm just throwing those out there as an example. But he's going to fear the Lord, which tells him that he must treat me well. So having said that, I'm not. And you women, young women, don't feel flattered by the man who is only interested in you on your outward appearance. A lot of men, they stand around, the women walk by, and they're like, oh, Ma, you look good, or blah, 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 or whatever they can say, but it's usually some type of reference to the outward appearance. And so we need to work on the inner appearance. These are just the things that have come at me that led me to this verse, but it applies all around the board. I've been married more than once. And I can tell you that my first husband and my third husband were models. Can you believe that? And these were periods in my life when I was young and foolish, and I liked guys that were attractive. And the first one was such an idiot. That's all he had was his outward appearance. I used to think, I never told him, but I used to think, wow, this beautiful face is slapped on this empty head, because he had nothing of substance. And needless to say, it didn't last. And then the third one, who was also a model, and it just turned out that way. I didn't seek models, but I was in entertainment, and I refused to date men within the entertainment business, because back in the day we used to say we never sleep where we eat. And so I would meet these men who would come for videos and things, and I'd wind up, if I was single, I sometimes would wind up dating them, and it eventually led to marriage, well, in those two cases. So the other one that I married, who was a model, he was another one. That's all he had was the outside. And I'm not saying all attractive people are stupid, but these two were, oh my goodness. I could get a better conversation talking to a stuffed bear and mouthing the words back to myself. So that's what I wanted to say. So no, I haven't been bleaching, and I don't know why my eyes, sometimes one looks bigger than the other. And it also could be, I wear makeup from time to time, because that's another thing that I'm dealing with is vanity, in terms of just coming to terms with being an older woman. I still like to fix up a little bit. And then I'm here and I'm talking to you, so I try to, put some effort in. And So sometimes when I do the lines on top, that's what I do because I have this it's in my head. I believe that it makes a difference if I put that one little line there. It's so funny because I don't use any type of face makeup. I very rarely put on lipstick because I don't want attention drawn to my mouth. I try to be conservative. And as you can see, my eyebrows have absconded, and I don't think they'll ever be returning. And that's from years of plucking, by the way, ladies. Just a heads up: if you're all the time plucking to try to get the perfect brow, one day they're just going to give up on you, and they're just going to be like, you know what, you don't want us. We're out. We're not feeling any love here. And so that's what happened with mine. And but yeah, so the only thing I do is I do that little line, and if depending on how close I get them to looking the same, it can actually change the shape of my eyes. And so you might see that on this one it seems to be a little thicker towards the end, but I don't care. Who cares? You know, my point of doing these videos is not for you to look at me. Number one, and number two is that I really, if you go back a few videos, you'll see that I hardly ever put myself on the screen because this is not something that I feel I need to do. I don't want followers. You know, I want people to follow Christ, not me. The other reason that I started even putting this mug up here is because I finally got this cool equipment that I used to have before that gives me all of these really crazy backgrounds, and so you have to use it with your camera, and so I do this so that I could play with this because I have so much fun with it. I love it, and so that's one of the things that one of the reasons you've been seeing me is because I have been enjoying my new toy. Like a lot of us, when we get new toys, we like to play with them. So that's it. You know, I didn't want to make this too long, but it wound up being kind of long. Pray for me. Pray for me. You know, I'm not going to claim illness anymore because I do know that, you know, God is a deliverer, and I believe that every day I'm getting healthier. So I'm not claiming illness, but pray for my strength that I'll be able to continue to do things because as they come to me, as I'm led, I speak on things. And I'm not perfect. I'm simply a messenger. And so I am simply telling you things that I feel you need to know. I was always appreciative, and I am still appreciative when people tell me things that they think I should know. Because the biggest fool is the person who cannot be told anything. Um, okay, I think that pretty much sums it up. Thank you. Thank you always. And God bless you. And remember, 1 Samuel 16:7. Man indeed looks at the outward appearance, but God looks at our heart. So, and I'm just going to say a short prayer. Lord, help the people to remember this, to remember your words, and to look at the heart of a person because the outward appearance, it changes, beauty fades, we get fat, but who we are on the inside is what should and will matter in the long run. Amen.